Good morning, Cindy here, and it is the first part of September, and today I'm going to share 5 things that I am doing in my September garden that will really give me a lot of bang for my buck. I can get things blooming more profusely all the way through till our first frost. So let's get started. Here we go. So one of the first things I'm going to do is cutting back some of my floppy perennials. I'm only going to cut back by 1/3, and I am going to lose some of my flowers. But we have a pretty long growing season here. I think you can see that these are laying all the way down on the ground. And if I don't go ahead and chop them, they will crack and break and cause trouble when it's time to mow grass over here. And they might actually, there might be enough time for some of these to start repairing itself and grow a little bit thicker. But these that are here, it's probably too late to chop much of this. But if I had chopped in early July, then everything would be standing up. So fall is the time that your Salvia greggii, or now some people call it autumn sage, is really going to put on a show. Isn't this beautiful? There's a pink, hot pink here and darker pink back here. And this is just the most sun-loving, fabulous plant. This is the time that you might want to do a little bit of chopping, just the top 1/3. If you chop off a little bit of this at the top, then it will really flush out and get thicker and more beautiful. So whenever it looks leggy, this one does not look leggy. This one is full and fabulous. But if yours is looking leggy, take off 1/3 of the top. This salvia, this is a Salvia Dahlberg. I did trim this back in July, and look how thick it is. It's not flopping over at all. It looks really great. So lesson learned, chop things in early July and not now. But if you have things that are falling all the way over, go ahead and chop. So a chore that I have just completed, this lantana was growing all the way over onto this plant here. This is a fall aster. And now I have opened up a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of airspace between the two plants. So that's another thing you might want to do, is to chop things that are encroaching on other plants. My Mexican bush sage is blooming like crazy. It looks really great, but it was also flopping over. And since I was a little bit too late to start chopping on this, I used a rope. Let me show you what I did here. I used a rope and I just encircled the whole thing and pulled it up, and now it's standing up straight again. Next year I will chop this a lot sooner, but if you're out of time, you can certainly use a rope to just bring it all back up together. Number 2 is weeding. Weeding is always on my list, but it's actually not such a chore when the temperatures are nice and cool. So I get out here, I have this rocky area here that is really got a lot of grass growing in it, and I can just easily pull it out because we've had a recent rain. So this is the time to pull out your weeds. And I have a whole section along the street here that I am going to work on too. Number 3 on my list is evaluating my garden. What looks great, what's doing well, and what's not doing well. What do I want to improve on? Because in late September and October is the best time to put in new plants. So I can see here, okay, I love the purple trailing lantana, is definitely a superstar, doing great. Can you see this gorgeous butterfly? See if it'll come back. Get that yellow swallowtail. Loves it. So we definitely need more of that. But here I was having bougainvillea in pots here, and I've decided I am going to actually put something in the ground. I have come across many wonderful new plants that I am going to plant here next year. So I have 1, 2, 3 possibilities of putting in new things next year. And this is something fairly new. This is Zexminia, and it's just about to start blooming. Can't wait. And then here is a place where I had a pot of bougainvillea, and that I'm going to put in something. And I might just put the yellow Zexminia in all 3 of these locations. And here is the last place. So that is probably the next thing I'm going to do. So my Yucca rostrata definitely needs some grooming. So it looks like a cousin it on the Addams family. So I am working hard on this. I'm going to go around to the back side and show you what I am doing to help this look a lot better. So what I'm doing is trimming off all of these dead yucca leaves, and I've been taking my best clippers and I start at the top and I just clip, clip, clip until I get all of it down. This took me about 15 minutes, so I still have a ways to go, but I'm going to go all the way around and have this look more like a palm tree than cousin it. So number 4 is deadheading. And I'm here by my beautiful drift roses. I have a whole bank of them here, about 4 of them. But as you can see that there are quite a few that have already been spent. Now you don't have to do this. They self-clean themselves, but I just think it looks a lot neater, and I think it sends a message to hurry up, let's flush out some more. So if you will deadhead, you will get a lot more of these beauties. Look at these. Oh, I am so late on deadheading here. But now that I've done this, I'm also going to sprinkle some fertilizer around this. Every single month, at the beginning of each month, I do fertilize my roses to get more blooms. While I'm in here, I was going to show you, look at the beautiful clusters of new buds all over this. And I do have one that is in bloom. Now that the temperatures are cooling, I am going to get many, many new buds all across this bank of roses. So this is just the beginning of the show that I will be having very soon. You see, drift roses like to bloom in little bundles or groups. Now, roses is another thing that you can lightly prune. My roses, I have already pruned them, and so you see all this red flushing out. So they are just as happy as can be. There's no deadheading needed right now. And let's look over here at this other one. You see all the new growth, all this purple. But there are a few places I could deadhead. So you can do some very light pruning, deadheading, but do not cut off all the purple. That is new growth. Number 5 on my list is to divide things. So I have just really enjoyed these Shasta daisies. They are finished blooming. There's one left. Look at that beauty. But in the spring and early summer, this was covered with beautiful daisies. And now it is time to move these around and share with friends. So this is about 5 feet across. And there's another one on this side. So I will be digging these up and moving them to new locations. I also have some daylilies and some iris that are in the backyard that I will be dividing and sharing. So I hope I've given you some great ideas on what you can start doing right now, beginning of September. I've got another video coming out very soon on the top 10 perennials that we should be planting here in later September and early October. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.